Okay, what is up, everybody? Darkside Phil here, fresh off of the end of the Microsoft E3 press conference for 2013, and I'm here to not only give you kind of a recap, but also my reactions and kind of a post-show coverage to what we just saw. And I've got quite a lot of stuff to cover. I'm going to be moving very fast, so I apologize if I'm moving too fast for some people, but today is going to be an insane day packed with content. There's like 4 major press conferences today, 3 of which I may actually be covering in a recap video similar to this, live on Twitch, but also on my YouTube channel, DSPGaming. I've actually decided I will not be doing any gameplay today, for those of you wondering, because there's just too much going on at E3 and I want to be able to cover it. I mean, this is the next generation of consoles. This could completely change the face of what people like myself are doing. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. We're going to do a step-by-step everything that happened in the press conference in case you missed it. And basically what I think. So the Microsoft press conference opened up with Metal Gear Solid 5. And basically what they're showing is that I guess it's Solid Snake, or is it Naked Snake? I don't know who the hell it is in this game. But he's riding a horse, and they're like, oh, it's open world for the very first time. The graphics basically looked like Metal Gear Solid 4 graphics, in my opinion. But I guess they're touting, oh, it's open world, you're going to have unprecedented amount of options and change and things that you can do. To me, quite honestly, the game kind of... What the hell? Sorry, I got distracted by the chat. The game kind of looked like Hitman. And what I mean in that regards is it looks like it's a game where you're going to have multiple options to complete missions. So, oh wow, you can maybe ride on your horse and sneak this way. Maybe you can hijack a tank. Maybe you can do this or this. But that's already been done. So in my opinion, I don't know. Like, it was pretty funny because as people are watching this, keep in mind that I was watching this press conference along with my stream, and people in my stream chat, and everyone's like, wow, this looks like a great movie. To which I was like, you know what? They're right. This is a great movie. Once again, this looks like Kojima made a movie with some interactive gameplay, but is this really going to be anything groundbreaking? I guess it remains to be seen. Up next... one thing I do want to mention, during the trailer, there's a character called Skullface, whose face is decayed and kind of looks like a fucking skull, to which I said, Deathface? Did Kojima steal from me directly? I'm going to get that motherfucker. And he was on stage and he couldn't even speak English, so fuck that guy. Alright, anyway, then immediately, the first thing that they opened the press conference with is that they announce that there's a new Xbox 360. Don't worry, we're not dropping the Xbox 360. It's not like we're not going to support it anymore. And in order to show you our efforts that we are going to support the Xbox 360, there's a new model coming out in stores today. To which I think everyone watching the press conference was like, who the fuck needs another Xbox 360? Or who hasn't bought an Xbox 360 yet is going to now buy one? You're announcing your new console. Why would they rush out and buy the last one just because there's a new model? It really doesn't make sense, and it actually pisses me off because just recently I had to buy a new Xbox 360 because my old Model 1 Xbox 360 died, and now it's like, well, if that had happened a month later, I could have gotten the new one. Well, guess what, Phil? Fuck you. You just got dicked over because Microsoft decides to do this now, and I think everyone's kind of scratching their head saying, why the fuck do you need a new Xbox 360? Hold on a second because my lamp is making noise here. I'm going to move it because it's in front of my air conditioner. Today's going to be a crazy day of me trying to get shit done, covering these press conferences and doing stuff on the fly, because it's going to be like watching a press conference, then immediately trying to cover it, and it's going to be a pretty hectic day. Okay. Then they make a new announcement. Well, we want to support our Xbox Gold subscribers, so from now on, you're going to be able to download games for free. I'm like, wait a minute. You mean like PlayStation Plus has been doing for over a year? And I guess, yes, that is the thing, that PlayStation Plus has always touted itself as it's a premium service, but the reason you pay is because you get shit for free, versus Xbox Live Gold, you basically need to pay just to play games online. So now it looks like Xbox Live Gold is trying to catch up with PlayStation Plus. So they said, well, we're going to be offering free games from now on. And by the way, starting in July, their first 2 free games are going to be Assassin's Creed 2 and Halo 3. Now, they're really old games, sure, but they are pretty good games, to be honest. I don't know who the hell honestly is going to want to play Halo 3 at this point. I'm also interested to see if it's bare bones Halo 3 or it's Halo 3 with all the map packs that came out with Halo ODST from years back. But regardless, it's nice that Microsoft is actually trying to at least do something to catch up to PS Plus, because I think they realize people have criticized them so much for having online gameplay you have to pay for. If you pay for something on a PlayStation, you get free games, so here you're going to get games as well, okay? No mention whether or not those games you could just download and play infinitely, or similar to PS Plus, if you stop subscribing to Xbox Live Gold, if those games are no longer playable. I guess we'll have to see how that works come July. Okay. Next up, World of Tanks on Xbox 360. Okay, World of Tanks is an old game. It's a free-to-play game on PC. It's not a big deal. Again, some of these games, I swear to God, the reason they're so big is because they're free. Like, it's a game where you drive fucking tanks. Okay, there's some strategy to it. Like, I don't care about World of Tanks. I played Battlezone back on my fucking PC back in, like, 1987, and that's the last game I ever wanted to care about tanks. Like, it's not, to me, it's no gimmick. Now, there are people who love World of Tanks, okay. For me, it's like, this is not an announcement. This is a non-announcement. In addition, it's only available, again, if you're an Xbox Live subscriber. So, okay, you're paying for Xbox Live Gold, you get World of Tanks for free, or if you have a computer, you've already played the game anyway. A non-announcement, in my opinion. Next, from Press Play, Max Curse of Brotherhood, which seems like an interesting kind of a quirky platformer, but a lot of people during this trailer that they played were like, wow, this looks like Limbo, only it looks like Limbo in color with a couple more elements to it and maybe an actual concrete story. And I mean, that's not necessarily a bad thing. Limbo was a great game, and that actually was one of the ones that kind of interested me. It looks like it's going to be kind of one of those Xbox Live indie game titles that you can download. Then they showed Dark Souls 2, which a lot of people, I'm absolutely sure, anticipating massively. That one is coming out in March 2014, so we finally get at least a solid release window for when that game is going to be coming out. So then they announced, alright, there's going to be 13 console-exclusive games coming out for the Xbox One, and this next one we're going to show you is actually a launch title. This is a huge launch title that everyone's going to want to see, okay? And it's called Ryse, and Ryse Son of Rome. And it's a third-person game. It kind of, at first, I thought, oh no, it's another God of War, but it's nothing like that whatsoever. It's a third-person action combat game with a massive amount of QuickTime events. I mean, everything that you did in this game was a QuickTime event. You hack a guy twice, oh, press X again to finish him. Oh, press B to do an instant finisher to the guy to the left. Oh, press this button to counter this guy to the right. The graphics look pretty good, I won't lie, but this is a launch title. It could go either way. It could be a really generic mashing button QuickTime event game, or it could end up being something really good. It was hard to tell from the trailer, but basically you're a Spartan, you're a captain in the Spartan army, and you're invading some barbarian towns, and at least for a trailer it looked decent. I couldn't tell, I mean, it was supposed to be real gameplay, by the way. It looks decent. I can't tell whether or not it's going to be a good game, but it's a launch title, which is, alright, at least we're getting some idea of what kind of launched games we're going to be getting for this console. The next one that they actually showed, oh no, this was actually funny. First, I want to mention that Ryse is from Crytek. Now, these are the guys who made Crysis 3, which in my opinion was a shit game. Like, the game was just awful. The gameplay was terrible. And for them to be saying, oh, look, it's from Crytek, I was like, maybe you shouldn't even have said that. These guys are kind of cocky. They think that they're really great game developers, when honestly, I think Crysis 3 was not that good of a game whatsoever. But it was kind of funny, because during the demo that they're playing, they're showing all these QuickTime events and combat, they're like, in the interest of saving time, and then all of a sudden, it goes ahead. And I'm like, so wait a minute, in the interest of basically not showing you this repetitive combat over and over and over, we're going to skip ahead. Are you saying that your own game is boring? And that was kind of an interesting thing that I was like, why would they skip ahead? Why wouldn't you have prepared a gameplay demo that has enough content in it without skipping through it, that it's entertaining? So maybe the pacing of your game is off. I don't know, but that was just an interesting take on what was being shown that I wanted to mention. Alright, now this next one, I shit my pants, but now after kind of thinking about it for a little bit, I don't know how to feel about it. Killer Instinct is back. This was literally one of the things that I said previously that if this was announced at E3 that I would blow my mind. It did blow my mind. Killer Instinct is fucking back. If you don't know what Killer Instinct is, I don't blame you. It's a fighting game series from the 1990s. It was a groundbreaking one because of ultra combos, because of combo breakers, because the graphics were revolutionary. This day and age, I don't know what they're going to do to really throw themselves into the fighting game market. However, it's an Xbox One exclusive, to which I'm like, uh-oh. And here's why I'm saying this. And I hope that people who are in the fighting game community, or if you know about fighting games, you're going to understand why I'm saying this. All the negative press around Microsoft and the Xbox One right now is regarding the console having all these anti-gamer features. So your console has to be connected to the internet at least once every 24 hours or else you can't play online. In order to play a game, the game has to be tied to an Xbox Live account. If it's not tied to an Xbox Live account, it won't even work, okay? These things are going to turn out to be massive problems for the fighting game community if they're attempting to do tournaments on the Xbox One, because just think about it. You're at a fighting game tournament. They have, what, 10 consoles there? So now every single console has to be tied to a person who owns the 10 copies of the games. That person has to connect those consoles to the internet to even get them to work so that you can play the game in the tournament, and it's not always viable. Not every fighting game tournament is held at a fucking LAN center. And the fact that these copies of the games basically, who knows if they're even going to function. Like, this was actually a problem on the PlayStation 3 when it came to certain fighting games that needed patches. You were like, oh damn, is this version up to date or whatever? I have to connect to the internet to find out, and it was a massive problem. So now you're telling me every time someone wants to play Killer Instinct on a tournament, that console has to actively be connected to the internet for a certain period of time. This person has to log into their account. It's going to be a huge mess versus a console where you can just pop in a disc, boot the game, and it doesn't give a flaming fuck about if you're logged in or whatever. So if all those things that people have been talking about the Xbox One are true, I don't know what's going to happen with Killer Instinct when it comes to a tournament perspective. Now, as a game, the game looks good. It reminded me of the original Killer Instinct, but I don't know what's going to happen with this game. I mean, ideally, fighting games are successful when they can be played in a competitive environment. Will this game be able to because of all the Xbox One's not user-friendly features? I don't know. I guess it remains to be seen. But at least it needed to be addressed, okay? Alright, the next thing they showed was Sunset Overdrive from Insomniac Games. Now, if you haven't followed along, Insomniac Games is the game development studio that made things like Killzone, that made things such as the Ratchet & Clank series, and most recently the epic flop from a couple weeks back, Fuse. So to see this game is like, okay, well, you're coming off of a really bad game. Hopefully you fix your ass and you do something good. So this next game is called Sunset Overdrive. It kind of looks like it may be an open world game similar to Infamous, where the people are being overrun and turned into zombies or monsters of some sort, and you seem to be a free-running dude who can scale buildings and jump off the sides of buildings. But the difference here is that you don't have superpowers, you're actually using guns and weapons. But then it also showed other characters, and it was hard to tell because it wasn't a gameplay demo, it was a trailer. I don't know if this is going to be an open world co-op game, but it looks pretty interesting. The graphic design of anything, I would say, is similar to maybe Batman. What was that game that came out last year? It was a Batman. Fuck, it wasn't It was supposed to be a spin-off of Arkham City, but it was the one that had different characters in it. I'm sure people are in a second as they hear this they're going to be saying it in the chat. But it kind of looked like Borderlands, kind of looked like Brink, or that Batman game from last year. But Gotham City Imposters, that's the name of the game. That's kind of the graphic design it seems to have. And that's kind of really what it reminded me of. So it remains to be seen what this game's going to be, but it looks kind of interesting. Forza 5, yet another console exclusive. They showed a McLaren car. Who gives a fuck about the McLaren being there at E3? That was really dumb. But they're like, the new thing is your Drivatar. That's right. Based off of your actual performance in-game, the game's going to create what's called a Drivatar, which is kind of almost an AI designed around your gameplay level skill, and that's going to play online against other people while you're not playing the Xbox, and you're going to get experience points and stuff for that, and in-game currency or something. It was really confusing, but it was funny because they're like, the game drives like people, and I was like, well, that could backfire, because a lot of people suck like me at these games. They could just be fucking wrecking people, and in a driving simulation game like Forza is supposedly supposed to be, I don't know how that's going to work. Okay, next, You had Xbox One is going to get Minecraft. That's right, Minecraft on Xbox One with new features and bigger maps. And I was like, again, similar to fucking World of Tanks, who cares? Like, Minecraft is how old now? Minecraft has been on Xbox 360 for a long time now. I just don't understand who cares about this feature, who cares about this going on. Like, I don't really give a shit about Minecraft, and for it to be on Xbox One is not a huge deal, and I just don't understand what the giant thing is here that we should all be excited about. Quantum Break. They showed a trailer for it. It wasn't gameplay. It was obviously an actual, like, almost like a movie trailer. We got a little bit more information than what it showed back in the Xbox One reveal conference, where basically there's an explosion and a woman is being propelled through the air and is probably going to die. Well, this guy comes in, he almost seems like a detective, and he freezes time somehow and actually pulls this woman out of the explosion and is like, oh, someone's trying to kill you because of some kind of technology or something. And it's very confusing. And so he's like, oh, whatever, and then some other woman in the background, who I guess is this guy's partner, says, oh no, it's not working anymore, it's unstable, and then all of a sudden the explosion comes to life and they have to, like, dodge the explosion. So it seems like there's some kind of a time manipulation mechanic, almost like this guy will be able to show up at crime scenes and freeze time and try to save people. So Quantum has to do with kind of a time, so it makes sense, but at the same time it is still confusing. We've seen no gameplay, we're not sure what this game is, but I'll be honest, it did kind of interest me. It kind of, like, got my appetite for, wow, I really want to see what this game turns out to be. From Swery65, or Swery65, who is the studio who made Deadly Premonition, who I just played the HD remake recently, so I was really like, whoa, this is cool, I can't wait to see what this is. They have a new game coming out called D4. Unsure what it is. Very unclear from the trailer what the game's going to be, although it does seem to have a little bit of quirkiness to it, similar to Deadly Premonition. But the thing that I have issue here with is they spent so much fucking time showing trailers for other games. This one was like 10 fucking seconds. Like, I'm not lying. It was like you couldn't even tell what was going on in the game, to which you're like, I really wish they focused more on this game and they gave you more time to talk about it, because this is one of the ones I'm interested in, and it just was like breezed over to get to the next thing, and that was kind of frustrating for me. Okay, and this is what really pissed me off, because the next thing that they show is Project Spark, and they spend like 10 minutes on this fucking thing. What this is it one of these games, and I'm going to say like Little Big Planet, where you can make your own world. Oh, make trees and rivers and shit, and so it makes a map. And he's like, oh, make this guy with a rock, and it shows a little character. It kind of reminded me of maybe Black and White, a game for the PC from a long time ago, or even Fable, that kind of artistic style. So it shows this little guy, and he has a pet rock, and the rock comes to life. And then all of a sudden, it shows, oh, 3 days later, there's goblins, and he has to fight the goblins. And then the most annoying part, they pick up the fucking, oh, so now on Smart Glass, you can pick this up, and you can do shit on Smart Glass. Like, no one has Smart Glass, no one wants Smart Glass, no one's going to use Smart Glass. Stop talking about Smart Glass. And the reason I say that, for the next, like, 10 games, they keep mentioning fucking Smart Glass. No one cares, okay? We want to buy the Xbox One, not fucking Smart Glass. So they're like, alright, so you're the Smart Glass, and you can make the fucking characters come to life and shit. But it was funny because the major focus was that the guys who were presenting the game were like, they were really annoying. Their voices were annoying. The one guy came out with the tightest fucking pants I think I've ever seen. Like, they were jeans, but they were like skin fucking tight. Like, you could see this giant 1970s bulge in his crotch. What era does this fucking guy live in? I don't know. If you're gonna be presenting a game at E3, try to look fucking normal. Try to understand that this is not the time to show off your amazing fashion sense, and we don't want to see your fucking balls through your jeans, okay? But I digress about that. The thing that really pissed me off, they literally took like 10 to 15 minutes to talk about this game, and you're like, the whole time, like, I don't care. Like, this is a game that, this is for the casual. This is for the person who's probably not even going to buy the Xbox One right away. Why do I care about this fucking game? Get to the hardcore stuff. And it was just very frustrating, okay? Okay, going along with the smart glass fucking theme. Oh, well, you can now use the smart glass to play Ryse, and you'll be able to track your progress in Ryse and see how far you are in the level, and you'll be able to do this with Ryse and that with Ryse with smart glass, smart glass, smart glass, smart glass, smart glass. Suck my ass, I don't want smart glass, okay? The next thing that they mentioned really kind of threw me back a little bit. They were like, okay, so the Xbox One basically has a built-in DVR, and what I mean by that is when you're playing your games, you'll be able to record matches with live commentary, to which I think everyone was like, oh, live commentary, how are they going to implement that? And then he goes, with the Kinect. And everyone was like, the Kinect sucks, okay? The Microsoft Kinect, the current one, has horrible microphone, okay? I know because I've used the Microsoft Kinect to try to do gameplay over the internet with people for co-op, and everyone's told me, please just put on a headset. The audio of the Kinect sounds like shit. In addition, if you're playing in a room like I do in here, and it's an open room, okay, and you're going to be recording with the Kinect isn't just going to pick up your voice, it's going to pick up all the noise from the speakers around you. So your gameplay is going to sound like shit unless they've dramatically improved the Kinect for the Xbox One. I don't know if they have. Again, no one's talking about the new model Kinect. What are its capabilities? Is it better, or is it the same one as that comes with the Xbox One? I'm sorry, with the Xbox 360. So right off the bat, I'm extremely skeptical of everyone who's saying, oh, you'll be able to do, all this stuff with the Kinect. I don't know how that's going to work. But in addition to that, this was kind of the big thing that everyone is probably talking about right now. You remember how in the PS4 press conference way earlier this year that Sony did, they announced that they're teaming with Ustream and that you'll be able to stream your gameplay on Ustream. Well, guess what? Microsoft has a partnership with Twitch TV. So, okay, obviously huge announcement. Here I am on Twitch streaming right now, and it's a big thing. People getting into gameplay that's streamed over Twitch. It's a huge thing. So Microsoft basically teamed up with the winner here. Because Twitch TV, let's face it, it's better and it's bigger than Ustream, okay? However, again, I urge here again, how is this going to work? If you're using the Microsoft from your Kinect, it's probably going to sound horrible. You're going to catch all the audio from your room. In addition, they talked about, there's going to be interactivity with the chat. There'll be chat interactivity kind of focused with the Xbox One. But they don't show it. They don't explain it. I'm like, how is this going to work? How can you interact with the chat while you're streaming? I don't understand this. So it's cool that they're saying you're going to have this capability. I completely like that. But at the same time, I don't know how viable it's going to be. If anything, what you're going to have when the Xbox One launches is thousands of people trying to stream on Twitch and doing horrible streams. But I digress. I mean, we don't know anything about this yet. This is the first time it was announced. We don't know too much about it. I don't want to hate on it too much, but I don't know how this would realistically work. It's still a huge announcement, though, that anyone who buys an Xbox One is going to be able to stream on Twitch with no capture device technology whatsoever, like I'm using right now, with no kind of additional thing. It's kind of interesting, and it would be interesting to see how this is going to affect things come the release of the Xbox One, okay? All right, the next thing that they announced, Microsoft points, which let's face it, since day one when Xbox Live launched, people hate Microsoft points, okay? Microsoft points are extremely fucking annoying. I'm gonna rent this movie. 480 Microsoft points. How much fucking currency is that? How much am I spending? Now I gotta get my calculator out. I gotta get my fucking abacus and shit, and I gotta do fucking algebra to figure out how much money I'm spending to do anything on Xbox Live. They're finally doing away with it. What they're saying is they're gonna actually have your currency is going to be used when you buy things on Xbox Live from now on. That, in my opinion, is a no-brainer. The PlayStation's been doing it since day one, so why the hell Microsoft hasn't even changed until now, I don't know. But they're saying, come the launch of the Xbox One, they're going to change that, and so it's going to be all in normal currency now, which I welcome. Then, the beginning of the technical issues. They show a game, it's Crimson Dragon. It's going to be a console exclusive, and it's from the people who made Panzer Dragoon. To which I say, no shit, because the game literally looks like Panzer Dragoon. It's like the same game. So, it looks good, and I'm not saying that it's a bad thing. Panzer Dragoon was actually a really good game, and I'm surprised that games never got back to that formula after such a long time. So they show the demo of this game, problem being, there's no audio. And so the audience is like, oh my god, are you kidding me? Oh, and of course they start saying funny things, they start clapping and everything for the game. out of tune and out of place because there's no audio for the game. But they were like, fuck, we don't have time, we just gotta go. So they just played the whole trailer with no audio. Now this will come back to bite Microsoft in the ass later on, which we're going to talk about. Okay, so then they showed Dead Rising 3, which was leaked already that this game was coming out. The main character, his name is Nick Ramos, who's a mechanic. He's got the biggest fucking wrench I've ever seen in my life. Like, this thing was like this fucking long, and he's holding it with one hand. I was like, oh my god, this is like some serious shit here. The game looks really good, but what I think they're trying to do is try to appeal to all audiences, and I think one audience that never really caught on to the Dead Rising series were people who really like survival horror, because what they're doing is they're adding in now survival horror elements. Like, he jumps into this building and it's pitch black, so he takes a flashlight and attaches it to his handgun so he can see, a la Resident Evil and a la every survival horror game, Alan Wake, that's done this before, okay? And then he gets attacked or whatever, and people were like, uh-oh, maybe this is going to be more survival horror than anything else, but then it gets back to the old school, you know, business that happened in the old Dead Rising games. He grabs a fucking axe and he attaches a fucking buzzsaw and he's doing crazy executions on zombies, and he jumps in a car and he's driving a car down the highway to the next portion of the game, and that was really neat too. The game looks really good. I'm excited. If the game has day one co-op, I think it's going to be a massive success. So I really like the look of Dead Rising 3. Up next was, oh my god, at the end of the Dead Rising 3 demo that they're showing, they go, Smart Glass! Yo, look! You're surrounded by zombies and you can't escape. So guess what? You can use Smart Glass. And you could do an airstrike by doing this. So basically what they're saying is you could cheat in the game. You could use Smart Glass to activate shit and cheat. And I was like, that's fine, because I got an iPad. I'll be fucking cheating like fuck. I'll just be dropping airdrop on those zombies' heads. And when people say that I'm cheating and that's not how the game's meant to be played, I'm going to say, but didn't you see the E3 press conference? Smart Glass, Smart Glass, Smart Glass, Smart Glass, fuck you. Okay. Up next was Witcher 3. With Smart Glass. I just can't stop saying it, because every game they were like, it has Smart Glass integration. So, Witcher 3, they show it, and they're like, it's going to come to Xbox One, and of course it'll be on PC. No mention of this is going to be on PS4. I'd almost assume it's not going to be on PS4. But anyway, yeah, Witcher 3 is coming out. Okay, what else do I really have to say? I'd be interested now. I have to say this because one of the biggest controversial things that ever happened in my history on YouTube is when I played The Witcher 2. The Witcher 2, similar to Demon's Souls and Dark Souls, it's one of these games that is extremely difficult from the get-go. They throw you into the world with little or no tutorial on what you're supposed to be doing, and they just expect you to learn on your own. For me, I don't like that. I'm the kind of person, you gotta at least teach me the basics or hold my hand a little bit so that I can learn the game. Then, okay, I'll learn it and whatever. But the game was just unforgivably hard, to the point where the game developers patched the game and made it significantly more easy. Now, a lot of people say, Phil, fuck you, you flipped out on YouTube because you suck at games. But let me ask you something. If I wasn't right, why did the game developers patch the game and make it easier? I just want you to think about that. If I wasn't right about the game being too difficult, why did they patch it? So what I'm asking is, will Witcher 3 be the same hardcore difficulty? Or is it going to be patched? Or will there be maybe 2 levels of difficulty? One for the hardcore and one for the more casual. I'm interested to see what they're going to do, especially because this game is coming to the Xbox One, which traditionally people who play on console are more casual than the more hardcore PC gamer. What's going to happen here? And that's what I want to see with Witcher 3, and I think that's going to be the big kind of hot issue when the game comes out. Do they stay to their roots? Do they kind of dumb down the game for more audiences? Or do they find a middle ground? Or do they have the option to do one or the other? That's going to be interesting to see. Okay? Battlefield 4. This is where the epic fail of the conference happened. They go to run the trailer, and no sound. So the trailer closes or whatever, and the guy who's presenting Battlefield 4 is like, he's all embarrassed. He's like, oh no, we're really going to run this trailer. Don't worry, I'm not lying or anything. We really are going to show you this trailer, so just calm down. And he's waiting. And he's waiting. And he's waiting. And it's still not playing, and everyone's like, wow, like, you could fucking the tension. You could feel the tension in the room. This guy didn't know what the fuck to do. And then it's funny because some of the people started talking in the audience. He goes, "Quiet, everyone, quiet." And I'm like, wait a minute, buddy. This is your fucking conference. You're the one who's flubbing it, and you're going to yell at the people in the audience for talking? Go fuck yourself. But, so eventually they finally do get the trailer playing. And Battlefield 4 looks like Battlefield. Looks like the graphics are going to be a little bit better. They did say that this game is going to run at a solid 60 frames per second, but the reason that this is kind of a fail here is because you can't stream in a full 60 frames per second, or at least very few people have the capability of doing that. So no one who was watching this press conference could see the game in 60 frames per second, so everyone just kind of has to take their word for it that it's running at 60 frames per second. It looks like Battlefield. There was a little thing at the end. Oh no, you're on a boat, and you get thrown off the boat, and then you get on a boat, and now you have an on-rail shooter portion. I guess that was supposed to impress you, but being that I've played all these first-person shooters, you know, for the past several years, it pretty much looked like typical first-person shooter fare to me. Someone said that if you watch back at the conference that there's a flub during the what they're showing you of the gameplay, that if you look at the upper left-hand corner of the screen, that there's a prompt for a keyboard button, or keyboard key. I'm not sure about that, but if that's true, maybe that means that they were running the PC demo and not the Xbox One version of the game. I don't know, I didn't catch it, but people in the stream chat were actually talking about it, okay? So it'd be interesting to see what happens with the Xbox One, you know, if it will run at its full capabilities or not, and what were they really shown, okay? Then they announced, oh, our first DLC pack, which would be called like Second Assault or something like that, is going to be on Xbox One first, which I was like, are we really going to do this again? Are we really going to start, oh, the DLC comes out on Xbox first, and so you should buy the Xbox version first. And so once again, no one's on an equal playing field. No one gets equal versions of the game. Everyone's frustrated. Like, do we really have to start this shit again? I was really hoping with this next launch of consoles, this next generation, that we would not be doing this kind of childish bullshit, but it looks like Microsoft is up to their old shit, and they're going to be paying off every company to do their DLC on the Xbox first, which frustrates the hell out of me. Okay. Up next was a game called Below. Now, this game, it was weird because the sprites in the game are tiny. And people were saying, oh, look, it kind of looks, again, like Limbo. Maybe it looks kind of like Journey, but it's a side-scrolling kind of a game. And the sprites were really small. It was really hard to tell because they really didn't show that much or explain anything about the game. They just ran this really short trailer. So I really reserved my feelings on that game, but they mentioned it. And then after that, they mentioned that Microsoft is basically doing exclusive partnerships with a lot of studios. And a new studio that probably no one's really heard of yet is this studio called Black Tusk. And they're working with them to develop Xbox 360, I'm sorry, our Xbox One exclusive games. And they said, we're going to show you this sneak peek of a new game that's coming out. So they show this game. There's no name to it, by the way. It's some guy. He's in a spy outfit similar to, say, Splinter Cell. He's rappelling down the side of a skyscraper. He kicks in a window. He starts shooting. And that's it. To which I'm like, okay, it kind of looks like Splinter Cell. But you didn't give a name. You didn't explain anything about the game. What was the point of that? I don't know. Then, another big one that they show a guy walking in the desert. And he's with a big, what do you want to call it? Kind of like a hood or a veil or poncho. That's, I guess, what you would call it. Like, but it's like made of burlap, so it's like falling apart. He's walking through the desert. There's all the sand blowing, and everyone's like, what is this? Is this Destiny? Is this Journey? What could it be? Because everyone's trying to draw similarities. And then finally they show his arm. It's a Spartan arm. You're like, ah, it's Halo. So it's Halo for Xbox One. What they're saying is that for the first time ever, when Halo comes to Xbox One, and they don't make it clear whether or not they're talking Halo 5, whether or not they're talking a new Halo game for Xbox One, it's not discussed at all. And I think that they're kind of doing that on purpose because they don't even fucking know yet. And what I'm kind of thinking is what they ran as a trailer wasn't really a trailer. Maybe it was just a tech demo, but it wasn't made clear. But the big announcement is that when Halo eventually does come to Xbox One, it's going to run at 60 frames per second. To which I say, wow, Halo's finally going to run at an acceptable frame rate. I can't believe it. And this is kind of ironic because when Halo 3 came out for the Xbox 360, it was the complete opposite. It was like the game didn't even run in high definition. And I'm going to repeat that. Halo 3 does not run in high definition. You may think it does. You may think it runs in 720p. It doesn't. It's actually a lower resolution that's upscaled to 720p, and the game runs at a shitty frame rate. And that's why if you play a game like Halo 3, and then you play Call of Duty, you're like, you even, like, your head will, like, rattle around because they look so different, because Halo runs at such a shitty frame rate. So finally, Halo is catching up to the industry standard and trying to make an FPS game that's going to run at an acceptable frame rate. It's a good thing, don't get me wrong, but it's like, wow, finally you're catching up with everyone else. Is that like a huge announcement? To me, it's not. Okay. Probably the biggest chunk of news for the entire conference. We've got a time frame for the release of Xbox One, and we've got a price. Xbox One is going to be released worldwide in November of 2013. The price will be $499 US, 499 euros, or I think they said 429 or 430 British pounds. But what I'm not understanding here is, okay, $499 US, 499 euros. Wait a minute, whoa. The euro and the dollar aren't valued at the same. I'm pretty sure, now I could be wrong because I'm not up on currency, isn't the euro worth more than the US dollar? So why are you charging Europe more money for the same console? You're a worldwide release. We're touting it's going to be a worldwide release, but we're going to charge one group more than the other. Now, I could be wrong. I'm actually looking at the stream chat right now. No, people are saying, no, you're correct. The euro is valued more. Oh, and here's the other thing. 429 British pounds is 666 US dollars. Why are you prejudiced against the UK? Why do they have to pay so much more? Why isn't everyone paid the same price? And I'm kind of scratching my head on that one. Like, I don't understand. Keep in mind, the world right now is in peril with bad economies. People don't have a lot of money, but you're going to charge one group more than the other. That kind of blew my mind. I don't understand that whatsoever. I think that's bullshit. I think Microsoft should charge everyone the same amount. And if US only pays $500, that means everyone should pay the equivalent in their own currency. That's just me being completely real with everyone, and I think fair is fair, and that's not fair, okay? Alright, the last thing that they talked about in the conference was a game called Titanfall, and this is from Respawn Entertainment, and what it really looks like to me, it looks like the game starts out playing like a generic first-person shooter, like, say, Battlefield, but then the unique element of this game is that there's mechs, okay? The mechs themselves I guess they're called Titans, and you can summon them during gameplay. It seems like maybe you have to earn a certain amount of kills or a certain amount of points before you can summon them. And then the mech gameplay is pretty interesting. You've got the ability to stop, like, missiles coming at you, almost like the what would they call it from Half-Life, that gun, the gravity gun, where you could grab stuff mid-shot and launch it back at your opponents. You've got unique weapons that you can use to stop things. They actually had a Titan coming in, and the guy aimed at it and sniped it and killed the Titan before it ever even hit the ground. So it seems to me the uniqueness of this is that it's seamless integration from an FPS game into a mech combat game. It's a combination of two completely different genres of game into one. It could be good, but what I was kind of I couldn't put my finger on. I don't know. I couldn't say, gee, does this look really good to me or not? You can't really tell from what they were showing. And also, it was very unclear from what they were showing whether or not the game was actually gameplay or was this a pre-rendered presentation. It was very hard to tell. So I reserve my judgment. The game looks like it could be interesting and could have a unique twist on traditional first-person shooter gameplay with the integration of the mech stuff. But I guess it all depends on the execution. All right? Alright, so I have just covered everything that was talked about in the E3 press conference. I'm sure I missed a little blip or a little bloop here, but for the most part, I tried to take copious notes, and that's what I saw. So, out of the press conference, first of all, what were the wins and what were the losses? Wins. First of all, zero mention of TV, and I think Microsoft directly listened to the criticism they got at the Xbox One reveal press conference and realized no one gives a fuck about TV on this stupid thing. So they said we have to focus on games. And that's exactly what they did. It was game after game after game after game. Another win is that there's so many console exclusive. They mentioned 13 console exclusive franchises are basically going to be on this thing. And the fact that they, like, okay, let's start going through them. And they were like, Ryse is a console exclusive. Killer Instinct is a console exclusive. Forza 5 is a console exclusive. Boom, boom, boom. And they were just like nailing them out, to which you're saying, why do I want an Xbox One? Well, if you want to play these games, you're going to want an Xbox One. That was done really well, and I think that that's really going to push towards the reason that people will actually want the console. The fact that they did actually show real gameplay. Again, it seems like they really did directly listen to people who criticized the Xbox One press conference and said, there's no gameplay in this press conference, it's all pre-rendered nonsense. They showed gameplay of Ryse, in-game gameplay of Forza. They were actually showing gameplay of a lot of the games. Now, not all of them, but I think the ones that they felt were ready. That's a plus, because that shows us, okay, your console actually works, games actually run on the thing, and we can actually see some gameplay. That's a massive win for them that they had that ready, okay? What was massive losses? Smart glass. So not TV anymore. Now it's smart glass. We didn't mention smart glass a lot in our Xbox One reveal, so now we have to mention it every 5 seconds in this press conference. No one cares about smart glass. No one cares about the fucking piece of shit Kinect. No one cares about any of this nonsense. We just want to know what games are out for the system. So, again, trying to push bullshit down our throat. No one cares about smart glass, all right? Another massive negative. They didn't address whatsoever any of the concerns that have come out over the past several weeks regarding the things that everyone's complaining about when it comes to the Xbox One. So, what about the always online connectivity? What about the fact that, there's no more used games for the system, that there's going to be some kind of association with an account or something, and it's not clear how that's going to work, or at least they're trying to explain how it's going to work, and you can't hand your game to your friend anymore, unless they're on your friends list for 30 days, they can't play the game that you gave them or brought to their house. It's just this nonsense that people don't, they're infuriated about this stuff. No mention of it. So it's like, if there's a negative, don't address it. And I don't feel that that's the right attitude. Now, it could actually work, because I do realize that in politics, this is what happens a lot of the time. When a negative comes out, if you don't address it, it goes away. Okay? Same thing here. Maybe they think, oh, if we just don't talk about this stuff, people won't keep talking about it. All right? But for the intelligent consumer, they want answers. How will Microsoft address everyone's concerns? They didn't address it at all. So sometimes, maybe to be silent about it is the best thing. I don't know. Another negative. I'm on the fence about this one. It costs $499. Now, admittedly, that's a lot of money. Admittedly, this is the next generation of consoles, so it's costly to probably make them. And admittedly, the economy is bad everywhere. So people don't have a lot of money, but you don't want to undercut yourself and completely kill your company by selling the console for a certain price. So I think people are going to see it as a negative, and I think primarily what's going to happen is based off the price of the PS4, which is probably going to be announced later tonight, we're going to judge whether or not this is a real negative or not. But let's face it, not everyone has a lot of money right now. $499 for a new console is a lot of money, and I'm willing to bet that if this stupid fucking console was not bundled with a Kinect, it would be $399. And I'm going to go out there on a limb and say that. If it wasn't bundled with junk you don't want, it would be cheaper and it would be a lot more affordable. So, because Microsoft wants to push their nonsense agenda down your throat, you have to pay more for it. And that I don't agree with, and I think that's a massive negative, and that's where the negativity comes in here. Things that I'm undecided on or on the fence about right now. This whole DVR, you can record your gameplay with commentary and upload it. They didn't explain where. They said, oh, you can upload it to the cloud. Well, that's great. I can upload my gameplay to maybe this Xbox community and Xbox Live, but people don't care about that. They want to put their gameplay probably on YouTube or somewhere else, and those are the existing places to do this kind of stuff, and they didn't mention that at all, whether or not you'd be able to do that. In addition, again, using the Kinect for commentary. How will that work? Is the Kinect significantly improved? No really description of the new Kinect. Is it really a new Kinect, or is it just a Kinect that's identical to the one that's out now, but it looks a little different? And then the Twitch streaming capability. I'll be honest. In November, when this thing launches, Twitch is probably going to be fucked up, because you're going to have every little Joe Schmo trying to stream on Twitch. It's going to suck, first of all, because you're going to completely oversaturate the market with people trying to stream. Everything's going to go to hell in a handbasket. I could probably tell you that right now. And how's it going to work? Will people like me, like I already have a Twitch account, it's partnered, I have subscription ability, will I be able to stream through my Xbox One without using my capture device with live commentary that sounds good on my existing account? Or are people going to have to make new accounts? How is it? It's just very unclear. And the fact that the technology is advancing is great, but you need to be sure that the safe, or the everything's in place to handle it. And I'm kind of worried now. You've got the PS4, you're going to be able to stream on Ustream. The Xbox One's going to be streaming on Twitch. Will these things be ready, is my question. Will these things be ready to handle this? And I don't know. Again, massive oversaturation of the market. How is it going to work? And I'm kind of really worried. I'm on the fence about that. So all in all, I'm going to wrap up here now. In summary, the Microsoft press conference, I think they did what they needed to do to recover from the horrendous Xbox One reveal several weeks ago. They talked only about games. They completely ignored television, which is good, because if they were just talking about television the whole time, this thing would have been a massive flop, okay? However, this fucking smart glass nonsense needs to stop because no one cares about it. They really need to show off good games. Now, of course, the elephant in the room right now is that there is a strong rumor that Microsoft is actually bribing, that's right, bribing companies to not present the PlayStation 4 version of multi-platform games at E3. So if you walk into E3, there's a possibility that you're going to see 100 Xbox Ones demoing games and way less PlayStation 4s. It's a rumor, but I just want to mention it, because if that's the case, wow, Microsoft, that's like so fucking underhanded of you that you need to do that to try to stay alive in this console war. And it is that. It's a war at this point. It is very much in every sense Microsoft versus PlayStation. Nintendo doesn't exist, okay? So, in that regard, I'm really excited to see what's going to happen at E3 this week, what games are going to be presented at the conference. Keep in mind, the conference doesn't open until Tuesday, so no one will actually be talking about hands-on experiences or have demos and stuff of these games until tomorrow when they actually hit the con floor. So that'll be kind of fun. But overall, out of a scale of 1 to 5, I would probably rate the Xbox One press conference. I'm on the fence. It's definitely not a 5. Fuck no. I'm probably going to give it a 3.5. And the reason I give it a 3.5 is because they did a good job of pushing what they needed to push. Games. That's what the console's all about. But not addressing the problems, the elephant in the room, which everyone wanted to talk about, all the problems with online connectivity or whatever. And the fact that it seems like they're just going to be completely ignoring it, which kind of confirms that these things are true and they are going to exist. It's going to be a big problem coming up for Microsoft. Trust me, it's going to be a huge problem that they're not addressing this. But for the most part, some of the games they showed and the fact that there's so many of these games are going to be console exclusives, I kind of feel a lot more positive about getting the Xbox One now. Like, okay, I'm going to spend $500, but I'm going to get to play a lot of good console exclusive games. I may have the ability to stream on Twitch and record my games right out of the box without buying a capture device. These are reasons why the common gamer may want to get this console. So they did some pretty good damage control in that regard, and I think that they're off to a good start. Now it's going to depend on what Sony has to show later on in their press conference today, and also what games are going to be shown over the course of this week at E3. So I give them a 3.5 out of 5 for the press conference. Pretty good job, but at the same time, all the negativity surrounding this console, I don't know how that's going to affect them in the long run, okay? So that's it for my recap of the Microsoft press conference. What I'm going to be doing today is watching all the press conferences live on my Twitch TV channel, Darkside Phil. And so if you want to join me in the chat to talk about these press conferences as I watch them, please do so. And then afterwards, I'm going to be streaming my live reactions just like I'm doing now, and then subsequently uploading the videos to YouTube. Right now, I'm actually going to upload this video to YouTube, and hopefully it'll be there in time before the E3 press conference, or not E3, the EA press conference starts at 3:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So, thanks a lot, everyone, for watching the stream. I will see you hopefully in a little bit for the EA press conference, and over the course of today for all the press conferences. The only one I will not be doing live reactions to is Sony, because it's so late. I'll probably do a reactions to that tomorrow, okay? Thank you, and I'll see you later. Peace out. Oh, by the way, Microsoft... Oh!
You blew it!
Alright, they didn't really blow it, but I just wanted to play that clip. Alright.